So when I met Tommy in middle school, I knew I had found the love of my life. We began dating almost immediately, and it didn't take us long to find ways of being together all alone. Well, as you might guess, one thing led to another, and soon I became pregnant. Middle school, pregnant.
Oh my god!
YouTube animation channels. One of the weirdest types of content on this platform. Often disguised as children's content, they usually deal with subject matter that is for anybody but children. But parents don't care because all they see is a cute animation, and well, YouTube Kids might as well just be called YouTube without comments, because there doesn't seem to be any actual guidelines about what's allowed on YouTube Kids versus just the normal YouTube. I forgot to mention it, but the video I talked about yesterday, where, the guy beats his girlfriend, was on YouTube Kids, so, it's kind of just a war zone. And the YouTube channel Storytime Animated is the perfect amalgamation of all of these problems. I mean, really just take a moment here, pause if you'd like to, and look at some of these titles. These are videos made for kids. And after going through what my doctor told me was an unhealthy amount of these videos, I think I found the dumbest one. I'm addicted to having kids. 18 kids at 18. Now, math has never been my strongest subject, but something doesn't quite add up there. Let's take a closer look. Please subscribe.
Hi, my name is Tessa, and this might sound crazy, but by the time I turned 18, I already had 18 kids. You might ask yourself how that is even possible. I mean, there's not enough time in the year to get to be a mother of 18 before I can even buy alcohol, right? Well, I managed to do it, and I couldn't possibly be happier.
Okay, so already there is quite a lot wrong in what was just said in the past 20 seconds. But yes, Tessa, you are correct. I am wondering how you could have possibly gotten 18 kids in 18 years, because that just does not work. I'm guessing adoption is going to somehow play into this, but that is illegal, so I will be reporting you.
Let me tell you a bit about myself. I grew up in a big family.
Oh, this sounds boring.
So when I met Tommy in middle school, I knew I had found the love of my life, even if we were both super young. He was really smart and funny and so cute. He also came from a big family, just like my own. Well, a bit smaller.
Pause. Why does Tommy look like a different species of human? I mean, everyone around him is like twice his size. This is horrifying.
They were 7 siblings instead of 11, but that was a lot more than many families, What's funny is that he was the youngest, just like me. We had so much in common, and we both agreed that having big, happy families was the best. We began dating almost immediately, and it didn't take us long to find ways of being together all alone. Well, as you might guess, one thing led to another, and soon I became pregnant.
Alright, gonna have to use my second pause here. So this is a good thing? This is being portrayed as a positive thing in this story? Having a child in middle school? Really? That's what we're doing here? What a great message to send to the kids.
My mom and dad weren't super happy about it since they wished I would have waited a bit longer. That being said, they loved the idea of having a baby in the house again. To our surprise, it was not just a single baby, but 3.
I don't think a 12-year-old could have survived this. I'm pretty sure the youngest case of triplets is like 16. Keep in mind that this channel advertises all of its stories as true.
Yes, I had triplets. Tommy was super supportive about it, and he promised to help me take care of our babies. He kept his word, and we continued dating. I was so in love with him, and we adored our 3 sons. It was so perfect that I asked myself, why not have even more babies? I didn't tell my mom and dad about my plan because I knew they wouldn't exactly agree. I did speak to Tommy, though, and he was super supportive. We were in high school by then, and this time around, I didn't get pregnant by mistake.
Tessa, a question, if I may. What do your parents do for a living, and how do I get into that field? Because how are they supporting 10 children plus 3 newborn babies, and not even breaking a sweat? And apparently they're doing so well that you want to have even more children and you don't think they'd care.
We absolutely were trying to have more babies. This time, it took us a bit longer to actually get pregnant, but that was okay. We were very busy with the triplets and our studies, so it wasn't as if we were desperate for it to happen. But when I turned 15, I began feeling sick in the mornings. I knew those symptoms all too well, and so I rushed to the pharmacy to get myself a pregnancy test. I was so happy when it turned out to be positive, and I called Tommy at once.
Okay, so in the part I skipped earlier, they said this.
And no, we are not some creepy religious cult or anything like that. My mom and dad are super normal people who are just used to big, happy families.
And okay, a big family is not super unusual, but when your 13-year-old daughter now has 10 children as well, I think there'd be some knocks on your door.
We celebrated that night and could already imagine another cute little baby filling our lives with joy and happiness. The only problem was, it wasn't just one baby this time around either. Yes, you guessed it was triplets. But now we had 3 girls. It was so perfect. I couldn't even understand how we could be so lucky.
6 children? At 15? Tessa, I think me and you have different definitions of lucky.
My mom and dad didn't really scold me this time around, if I'm perfectly honest. They sort of assumed that I knew what I was doing by then.
Yeah, Tessa, what's your address? I just need to file a complaint. Your parents thought you knew what you were doing when you were 15 with 6 children. Okay, I'm gonna have to disagree. I am starting to believe that you might actually be in a cult, Tessa.
He asked his dad to let him work at the family business to support me and the babies, and my father-in-law said yes. Tommy was young, like 16 at that time, but he was so bright and inventive.
Oh, really? So bright and inventive, huh? Maybe he can come up with a new kind of condom that he can actually put on, because it seems like he hasn't found one of those yet.
He did really well there. He began adding new ideas and improving the business, and in no time, he was actually making the company earn even more money. That was cool because it meant that he could actually pay for the diapers and the formula, as well as pretty clothes for all our sons and daughters. When I got pregnant for the 3rd time, I knew that I had to stop going to school. I simply didn't have the time to do it all at once. Don't be thinking I'm a high school dropout or something like that, though. I totally graduated, and ahead of time to boot.
Oh, so we have a tech genius and an academic protege who have 9 children at the age of 16. You know, part of me is starting to believe that this story is fake.
I just studied from home. Basically, I was homeschooled in a way, but I studied on my own. I didn't need any tutor to tell me to sit down and read a book. Tommy decided to go to college after he graduated, but chose one that was super close to home so that he wouldn't have to be away too often. He began working from his study in the guest house, and so he could really help me with all the babies.
Okay, it's been like 3 years since they had their first kids. Why do they still look all the same age?
You might be asking yourself if my 3rd pregnancy resulted in triplets again. Well, no, but it wasn't one either. It was twins. A girl and a boy.
Okay, so you have 8 kids and you're like, what, 16, 17? How are you going to gain 10 over the next year? That's gotta be some sort of speedrun world record.
I wanted to have more and more children. Sure, I could have simply gotten pregnant again, but that sort of seemed a bit selfish. There are so many orphan children in this country, and I felt like I could both expand my beautiful family and give children without a home a loving mom and dad, as well as lots of siblings. So I spoke to Tommy about my idea, and he absolutely loved it. But he told me that before he wanted to buy me a big house. So while I began doing the paperwork to get us in the list to adopt orphan kids, he searched for a perfect house to raise our huge family in.
Oh my god, these children are fucking terrifying. But wait, let's back it on up here for a second, partner. So he's in college and you're unemployed, yet you somehow have enough money to buy a big fancy house, and let's just completely ignore the fact that you're not even old enough to adopt a child. Even without that, an adoption agency is never going to give a kid to a family that already has 8 children. That's just not gonna happen.
If we adopted 3 to 5-year-olds, then we'd be giving homes to kids that people turn their backs on. The kids were all super shy, and they struggled to adapt to their new home.
Yeah, I can imagine. They probably thought they went to another foster home. They walk in and there's already 10 children there. Probably thought they just got transferred.
I couldn't blame them. After all, they had been abandoned once already. They were probably scared to be sent back if they made too much noise or something. But Tommy and I encouraged them to open up and feel safe with us and their brothers and sisters. Soon they were laughing and playing as if they had always been a part of our family.
How many animators worked on this one video? Did every animator just quit after like 2 or 3 minutes because they couldn't take it anymore? Because that's what it looks like. These children are in 3 very distinct drawing styles. No way this is all the same person.
I was close to turning 18 by then and wanted to finish my quest before my birthday. It would be the best gift in the world for me.
Okay, Tessa, you're starting to sound a little bit insane here. Are you just collecting these children? What are you gonna do with them? What's the game plan here? Why do you need 18?
So we got on another plane while my mom and dad took care of all our children. Tommy and I visited so many places and finally managed to find the 5 perfect additions to our growing family. I couldn't believe that my dream to have a big, happy family had finally become a reality. You can't even imagine how busy my day is, running around the house with 18 kids to take care of.
No, I can believe you're busy, Tessa. What I can't believe is how you're not bankrupt. The average price of having a child per year is about $13,000. Times that by 18 and you're looking around $250,000 per year just spent on your children. Where are you getting this money?
You might ask yourself if I ever show my biological kids that I love them more, and the answer is no, never. I couldn't even imagine doing anything so cruel. I love all my sons and daughters equally.
That's exactly what somebody who loves their biological children more would say.
That's how I managed to be the mom of 18 kids by the time I was 18. I'm thinking that in a few years, perhaps Tommy and I will adopt 4 or 5 more children, but we haven't really begun discussing it seriously.
Really? 5 more, huh? Let me know how that's going for you in about 16 years when you have to drop around $2 million on college tuition over the span of about 2 years. Maybe you should have had them a little further apart. Well, that's pretty much how the video ends. How did you enjoy this very, very true story that is definitely not fake? I'd personally give it a 10 out of 10, but I gotta say that I think Storytime Animated is worse than My Story Animated. At least My Story Animated has halfway decent animation. This stuff is just scary. Are there any more animation channels that can top this? Let me know if so, because I honestly think I found the worst. If you enjoyed this video, please leave a like and walk on over to that subscribe button and touch it. It's free. It won't cost you anything. But for now, that's all I have for you today. Bye.
Subscribe.